to help the health of your brain and is free with an order of Prevagen today. This offer is not available anywhere else. You'll also get free shipping. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call 888-974-9745. That number to call, 888-974-9745.
You've been listening to The Brain Health Show. This program is a paid advertisement for Prevagen, sponsored by Quincy Bioscience. The statements made in today's program have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is the sound of a brand new outdoor grill being hurled off a 20-story building. Now a stylish glass coffee table. An electric guitar. These are the things you could enjoy, all cast into oblivion. Because when you throw away money on wasted electricity, you throw away everything you could have bought with it. Visit EnergySavers.gov and get tips on how to save energy and money. Then do things like switch to Energy Star light bulbs or Energy Star appliances, and you could save hundreds of dollars a year. So this doesn't happen to the recliner you've had your eye on, or this to the treadmill on your wish list, or this to the shiny new bike your kid's been asking for. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Talk 1470, WWNN Pompano Beach, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
My name is Sue Smith. I'm 38 years old, and I work at a graphic design company, which is funny, because I couldn't even draw a stick figure when I was a kid. But I met someone who told me, you know what? You can do anything if you really want to. And if the teenage me were here, she'd tell you,
I wouldn't be into drawing and art if it wasn't for big brothers, big sisters. Most kids from my neighborhood don't get into art. They get into trouble. But I was lucky because my big sister showed me early on that I didn't have to be like most people. And to the young me,
that meant a lot. My big sister's name is Sheila, and Sheila is the reason that this 8-year-old grows up to have an amazing job as a graphic designer.
Whether you donate money or time, you're helping Big Brothers Big Sisters help a child, and that can last a lifetime. Start something today at BigBrothersBigSisters.org. Brought to you by Big Brothers Big Sisters and the Ad Council.
AM 1470, with more of what you need to know. Don't miss Travelers 411 with Stephanie Abrams, each Sunday night from 5 to 7 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN.
No child in Florida deserves to be bullied, and it's up to parents and adults to recognize the signs. I'm Andy Ford, president of the Florida Education Association. Torn clothes, bruises, loss of appetite, mood changes, or a reluctance to go to school. These all could be signs that a child is the victim of bullying. And as parents, as educators, as adults, we have the power to stand up and stop the bullying, fix it, and prevent it. If you're a parent, the teacher, the custodian, the aunt, the neighbor, or the coach, one caring adult can make all the difference. Take the pledge to be that adult at NEA.org/bullyfree. Students in Florida deserve more caring adults in their lives. That's NEA.org/bullyfree.
A message from the Florida Education Association.
What you want to know. What you need to know. Talk 1470. WNN.
The opinions expressed in the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show, the place to fine-tune your swing, dress for the course, club, or cruise, and get tips on the best places to play and stay at the right price. Vacation or staycation, host Dan Shub, along with his expert co-hosts and guests, will tell you where to go. To play golf and vacation, that is. Now, here's Dan.
And welcome to the Golf and Travel Show. I'm your host, Dan Schub, and tonight, like we always do at this time, we're going to talk some golf, we're going to talk some travel, we're going to find some places to send you far away, or maybe some things to do right around here. We'll see. But we do have a great show in store for you tonight. In just a few minutes, we will be chatting with Bill Hogan, and Bill is the Director of International Travel for Premier Golf, and they've got some packages for special events and tournaments and places that you just won't believe. So we'll have to hear it from him in a few minutes. And also later in the show, we will be talking with Suzanne Kerpel, and she's the marketing director for a local company actually called Zensa, and they make compression apparel. So there's medical benefits to it, and I'm quite aware of it because I needed to wear some compression attire recently, and it wasn't quite as nice as what they provide. So we're going to find out all about it, what the benefits are for athletes as well as for other health issues. And, of course, we will have your golf tip of the week in a few seconds, and I might even have a couple of travel deals for everybody, too. So it's going to be a great show, and hopefully you'll stick with us. But first, what I'd like to do, what I always do at this time, is introduce you to my co-host. And he's that guy with that beautiful swing that you just heard that actually was recorded of his swing. It's my co-host, Jess Frank, and he's a PGA teaching professional and the owner of the Jess Frank Golf Academy at Boca Dunes Golf and Country Club right here in Boca Raton. Jess specializes in on-course instruction with V1 video analysis, and he believes that every lesson and every swing is different. Jess likes to focus on the scoring part of your game, those short shots that are taught right on the golf course, and that will instill plenty of confidence. Some of you may know him from his work at area country clubs such as St. Andrews, Boca Lago, and Broken Sound. Jess loves to teach and has a passion for the game because golf can be challenging, but Jess makes it easy for you to learn and excel. And Jess is not sitting next to me tonight like he normally is. He is on location. So, Jess, are you with us?
I am. Good evening, Dan. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing great. It's great to be down here in Boca Raton. It took a while to get here. There's so many people that are enjoying the wonderful weather that we're experiencing that it's hard to get anywhere.
It is. It's amazing. I'm actually on location at Verde Elementary School at their carnival, which is packed. It has about 500 people here, kids and parents, families, kids of all ages. It's been an amazing evening here, growing the game of golf and spreading the good word, as they like to say. It's been a lot of fun. I've probably given about 100 mini golf lessons tonight, so my voice is going a little bit, but it's been a lot of fun, and, you know, it's amazing to see these kids and how much excitement there is for them to get a golf club in their hand and swing a little bit and make good contact. So it's been a real enjoyable night, and I have about an hour left, and I just definitely wanted to call in and miss the tip of the week.
Yeah, I don't blame you, and I just want to say to you that at first when you said that, I was going to say, you know, were you going back to finish your education there, but I didn't realize it was just an elementary school, so. But,
yeah, right. I don't think I ever graduated elementary school, so it's good to get back and, find my roots again.
And the other thing I did want to mention is that I didn't first really swing a golf club till I was about 12 or 13, and I think I was at a disadvantage. I think if you start any sport really young, the kids really take to it. They have no fears, and it becomes much more instinctive, and I think it will lead to a much better career in golf when you can get them started that young.
Yeah, well, it's pretty amazing because, I mean, I've seen these kids, and sorry about all the noise, but I'm just outside the carnival. They got all sorts of stuff going on here. But, yeah, I mean, to start a kid, I mean, I've had 3-year-old kids, boys and girls, who it's amazing what they do when they put their hands on the club and they make a swing, and if they can kind of maintain their balance, it's really kind of cool to see it happen. And, you know, we're using some Snag golf equipment, so a little bigger heads and tennis balls, and, you know, if you keep it fun, I mean, the kids really, really enjoy it. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I've seen some really good golf swings tonight. You know, so there are a lot of these junior golfers out there playing, and the game is definitely going in the right direction. And the more kids that play, the better, because, you know, like any sport, golf is unlike any sport for the fact that you can play it throughout your entire life. And so it's great to kind of get the kids early on, you know, like they do with other sports, similar to swimming or tennis or baseball, basketball, golf is the same. Get them early, get them playing, get them swinging, keep it fun. Use tennis balls, wiffle balls, something that's a little easier for them to hit. And it's amazing what happens and the fun. And the parents see it too. And I think even some of the parents are amazed that their kids like the game. And even they're saying, wow, I got to play now. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, there may be some scholarships to the Jess Frank Academy, Golf Academy, I think. It could happen, right?
That's always a possibility.
Yeah, you're working on them young, and you get them into the program, and they'll be lifelong students at your academy, I think. But the one thing that I think that's most important with these kids, and I mentioned it briefly a few seconds ago, I think adults who've never played, oftentimes they're worried, what are people going to think? Am I going to hold up a group if I've never played on a golf course? People going to laugh at me if I miss the ball or it goes into the woods or whatever. But kids don't have those kinds of fears, which I think is really helpful.
Yeah, no, they don't have any fear. They step up, and you just keep it really simple and tell them that the club head needs to meet the golf ball, and it's amazing how they're able to swing the club, make contact, and send the ball in the direction that they want it to go. So, yeah, they don't have any fear. They get up, and they just do it, and it's really, really cool. It's so nice to see that, and, they just, even if they swing and miss, they just get back up and do it again, and they laugh, and they're having fun. And, we think of everything in the world that goes wrong with, oh, my God, my left arm was not straight, my head was down, the water was on the left, the wind was blowing out of the right. These kids they just keep swinging. And so, I would have to say that, would be a huge tip for all of our listeners out there who want to improve their game, is forget about the result and just focus on the motion and focus on, the target, and forget about the result, where the ball goes. Because, the last thing any good player is thinking is saying to themselves, I don't want to go in the water, or I don't want to go out of bounds, or I don't want to go in the hazard. And so, that's basically, what these kids show is, like you said, no fear, just getting up, enjoying themselves, and that's what it's all about.
All right, so there's a good tip for anybody, but I think a good tip for parents or grandparents is to get the kids started young. A lot of parents or grandparents may just think that their kids aren't going to like it or won't be into it, but once they get out there, they have a blast.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so cool too, because I love running the kids through my short game program that really takes the stress off, and that, it doesn't matter what they score or what they shoot. We start out from about 50 yards off the green. We see how many shots it takes them to get on the green. We don't worry about making a putt. We just kind of move it along, and we play 9 holes, and whatever the score is, the score is. And from there, that's just an excellent way for grandparents, for parents, to get their kids into the game, get them on the course, get them playing, and whatever happens. Pick it up, go to the next hole, just keep moving along, and the kids will find it enjoyable. And there's all kinds of different opportunities to play and make it simple, make it fun, and whether it's using snack golf equipment or bigger golf balls, plastic golf balls, anything that really kind of make them enjoy it. I think it makes for a long-term improvement, enjoyment of the game for adults and kids.
I think there was another important point right in what you just said too. Whether it's the snag or some other equipment that's specially made for kids, I think is important. When I was a kid, you would get, some old, club that could be an adult's club, or maybe they'd give a kid a ladies' club because it was a little bit shorter, or some people would cut down old clubs.
Sure.
And once you start doing that, it changes the whole integrity of the club. First of all, if you cut it down, it makes it probably very stiff. You'd probably want the exact opposite for these kids, something a little bit more flexible. Exactly. And what happens then is you're giving these kids very little chance to succeed, and that first experience that they have is not successful. They won't want to come back. So I think getting it right the first time with the right equipment is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very important to make it positive, to make it fun, whether it be games, let the kids use their creativity, let them cut out boxes, make it fun. I used to do it with my brother in the basement. We used to make little putt-putt games and, just anything to get them playing and and enjoying the game. And that's kind of my tip tonight for all the adults out there who have kids that want to play or want to try to get them playing. Keep it fun. Let them use their creativity. Don't put them in a box. Don't think, don't tell them, what you do is going to work for them. Just let them go. Whether if they put their hands on the club cross-handed, whatever it is, it's all about contact. It's all about fun. And if you do that, I think it'll be a success.
There you go. So if you could just stick around for one more minute, because I know that you have a message from a sponsor. We're going to just take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more of the Golf and Travel Show. Stay tuned. And we are back. And like I said, thanks for sticking around with us for a little bit longer, because I know that you have a message from one of our sponsors that's one of your favorites, right, Jess?
Absolutely. It's definitely my favorite sponsor, and it's Boca Dunes Golf and Country Club, where they make the game fun and challenging at the same time, where there's an 18-hole championship golf course that you can play. It's all the way back to 7,000 yards. But if you want something a little easier, the 9-hole golf course is fantastic for the beginner golfer, for someone who wants to get in a quick round. In fact, my friend John plays every Saturday and Sunday morning pulling his cart, so you can walk the 9-hole course, work on your game, work on your short game. They also do all kinds of parties in the catering center, the catering facility, where Tracy and Aaron do an amazing job. So if you want to play out there, or if you want to have a party out there, you can call 561-451-1600 and reach Tammy in the golf shop to make a tee time, or Tracy and Aaron in the catering facility to make a party with them. I think it would be excellent. Or you could reach them at bocadunes.com. That's bocadunes.com. And Dan, I'll be signing off, and I'd appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.
Enjoy Carnival.
Thank you, sir. Have a great night.
All righty. What we're going to do is we're going to take another quick break, and then we'll be back with Bill Hogan, the Director of International Golf for Premier Golf. You won't want to miss it, so stay tuned. And we are back. And that music in the background, that's kind of appropriate, because if you want to fly someplace far away and possibly have a chance at scoring an eagle, then what you might want to do is reach out to a professional who can make it happen for you. And next up with us, we've got the guy who can do it. Bill Hogan, the Director of International Golf for Premier Golf. They're the largest tour operator in the U.S. He's done it all, this guy. I mean, he was a former president for the Wide World of Golf, America's oldest golf touring company. He's one of the panelists for Golf Magazine for their USA Top 100 Golf Courses. There's a rough job. I'd like to have that job. A member at Barton Creek. He's played pretty much everywhere, 56 different countries, as a matter of fact, he's played golf in. So if there's anybody who knows where to send you and how to make sure that you enjoy the trip and don't get ripped off on the trip, well, this is the guy to talk to. So without any further ado, Bill Hogan, Director of International Golf for Premier Golf. Are you with us, Bill?
Yes, I am. Hey, thanks for having me on.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you on. And this is the time of year where, first of all, we've got majors coming up, so people are thinking about heading out and watching some golf. And, of course, in many parts of the country, this is the only good time to play golf. Of course, there's other places where you could play year-round. But I would have to believe that this is a busy time where you're fielding a lot of questions, a lot of phone calls, and making plans to send people to some really cool places, right?
Absolutely it is. And, it's funny. Every year, once that first golf tournament comes on television from Hawaii, you know, the Mercedes Championship from Kapalua. I think it's whatever the car company is these days that sponsors it. Anyway, that next week when it's cold across the country and it's snowing everywhere, the phone just rings off the hook. And it has been for the last 2.5 months now. So people are thinking ahead to the Masters, and it's going to be a really good year for people in the golf travel industry.
I can only assume that the bad winter weather has probably made the phone ring even more.
It does, because, you know, people are sitting in their office or at home on a weekend, and they're looking outside, and it's, you know, 20 degrees and 2 feet of snow on the ground, or even more if you're in a place like Boston. And they start looking ahead to spring and early summer, and where are we going to go this year? What are we going to do? And really, really stirs the wanderlust, no question about it.
Okay, so with the Masters right around the corner, why don't we talk a little bit about some of the special events that people might fly to just to be spectators, or perhaps to spectate a little bit and maybe sneaking around at a different golf course that's in the vicinity. So, for instance, the Masters, is it too late if somebody would like to go?
No, there's still packages available for the Masters. The Masters is always, of course, a pretty premium ticket to get. Single-day entrance badges these days are over $1,000 is the street price. So it gets pretty pricey if you want to go for a couple days. And then your regular, you know, $100 a night Motel 6, they get about $500 a night for those things down there. So Augusta gets very pricey for 1 week out of the 52 every year. But this is also the time when people start looking ahead to the summer. And this coming year, the British Open, or the Open Championship, is at St. Andrews. And St. Andrews is always the biggest draw of all the open rota venues. And so this year will be, no question, a big event. We have a lot of space available for people if they still want to go across to St. Andrews, and it's really one of the best places to watch that tournament.
Yeah, it's probably a lot easier to watch than it is to play it yourself, I would think.
Yeah, no question about it.
Of course, it can be brutal. Now, sorry, don't know what I was going to say. I was just going to say that if people do want to watch the event, are there some really good courses that you could get them on as well when they're done being a spectator?
Yeah, absolutely, especially when you go to Scotland. You know, right around St. Andrews are the great courses of Kingsbarns and Carnoustie, and Glen Eagles is within an hour away. But there's so many courses in a place when the Open's at a place like St. Andrews, or when the British or the U.S. Open rather would be at a place like Pebble Beach, for instance. Or last September when the Ryder Cup was in Glen Eagles in Scotland, we had a large percentage of our people who stayed and played golf or came early and played some rounds of golf. So, yeah, depending on where the major venues are, there's usually a good place for people to play golf nearby.
And, you know, I am the kind of guy that I like to do all my own travel plans and whatnot. I mean, that's why I have a show like this. But most people, I would think, need to really know their stuff, or they want to trust a professional before they start spending this kind of money, right?
Yeah, they do. I mean, people can try to do some of these things on their own over the internet and things like that, but to know what days of the week certain courses are open and what the proximity is to hotels, and whether or not you're getting a good deal on, you know, what certain people are quoting you or whatnot, it's really good to go with a professional, people who do it day in and day out. And it's always our goal to give the people the price of their trip is as if they're trying to do it themselves. You know, we get our payment on the back end, you know, in form of commissions and discounts from our suppliers. So, you know, doesn't really cost anything more for people to use a company such as ours to plan their trip. And you're certainly going to be in better hands because you know that the people are handling it properly.
I would also think that on some occasions there are certain golf courses that you could get people on that maybe they couldn't get on themselves.
Absolutely. We've had relationships with these companies for over 25 years, and it's really, you know, golf is like any other industry. It's who you know, and it's all about relationships. And so when you can call up and say, hey, we really have to get Mr. and Mrs. Smith and their friends on this day, can you make it happen? Can you do me a favor? They're going to do it for us, whereas if you try to do that yourselves, you may not always have that entree.
Okay, and so what about some of the other majors this year? Do you have some packages for them as well?
Well, we primarily work with the Ryder Cup, which is held every other year, the Open Championship, which is held every year in Scotland or England, and but we, you know, coming up in 2016 is really our bailiwick, which is the Ryder Cup. It'll be held at Hazeltine in Minneapolis, and it's going to be a huge event again. We'll see how Davis Love does this time around, captaining the U.S. squad against Darren Clark from the European team. So we're starting to announce our packages for the 2016 Ryder Cup just after the Masters, certainly by May 1st, and so it's going to be a great event. It's easy to get to, being in Minneapolis. You don't have to fly across the ocean, and there's nothing quite like the upper Midwest in late summer. It's going to be just beautiful.
Now, for the folks that like to play tournament golf themselves, I noticed on your website that you guys have a tournament that folks could enter in Portugal.
Yeah, we do a Pro-Am. We do a series of Pro-Ams. In fact, this coming year we have a Pro-Am which is in Portugal, so they'll be playing the great courses of the Algarve, their Sunshine Coast, so to speak, and then also up in the Lisbon area. So it's about a week-long program, and it's usually a team of one golf professional and 3 amateurs, and they're really a lot of fun. We usually get anywhere from 60 to 80 people per event. There's great camaraderie that is developed, and it's interesting. During the trip, we'll say, okay, next year's Pro-Am is going to be in Northern Ireland, and half of the crowd right on spot, they sign up for it right away because they're having so much fun. But next year, we're also going to have a Pro-Am in the Dominican Republic to play the great courses like Corrales and Casa de Campo, Teeth of the Dog, and that'll be fun too. That'll be probably in March. So we always have a couple Pro-Ams every year that anybody can join, and their pro can come along, and everybody has a great time.
Yeah, one of my favorite courses in the Dominican is Punta Espada. Love that place.
Yeah, Punta Espada is probably one of Jack Nicklaus's top 3 or 4 courses he's ever designed. And as far as a piece of real estate goes, that was the best piece he ever had to work with. It's just phenomenal. You cannot go around that golf course and not take at least 50 pictures. It's just so beautiful.
And you have to play it a second time because the first time you're just so in awe of the scenery, it's really hard to focus on playing golf. So once you've kind of gotten that out of the way the first time, then you could go out there and actually focus on your golf game. It's just breathtaking.
No question about it. And it starts on the second tee. You play that first hole, you get up on the second tee, and you look at this beautiful par 5 with the turquoise blue ocean in the background, and that's when it starts, and it stays all the way through the next, 17 holes. It's just spectacular.
It surely is. And speaking of that, so if somebody just wants to plan your basic golf vacation, I know you have a million destinations all over the world, can you just give us the top couple that you think are the most popular, or if you had your choice, if someone said, hey, I've never played any wonderful golf course in this whole wide world, where should I start?
Well, I think the first suspect is right here in the United States of America, and that's by booking a trip to Bandon Dunes Resort in Oregon. Mm-hmm. Bandon Dunes has 4 top 100 golf courses at one location. So you can fly up there either to Eugene and drive a couple hours or fly into North Bend. You need at least 4 nights now, maybe 3 nights to play all the courses. It's walking only, so it's kind of old school, old-fashioned. They have the great caddy program there. That's really terrific. So Bandon Dunes is a clear bucket list destination up there with the likes of Pebble Beach and those. So certainly Bandon Dunes is one. There's a new one, too, which is coming on, and in a few years we're really going to be raving about it, and that's Cabot Links and Cabot Cliffs up in Nova Scotia.
Yes, we actually we had the guy who runs the place on the air with us a couple of weeks ago, actually. So we heard a little bit about it. It was fascinating what he had to say.
Yeah, that place is really, really going to be a tremendous spot, no question about it. And then, up in Central Florida, there's Streamsong. I don't know how many of your listeners in your area have been to there. I'd imagine a pretty good percentage of them, but Streamsong, with the 2 courses,
it's crazy.
The third one being built now, it's going to be spectacular as well.
Yep, I heard about it. I did play there recently, and just so out of character, nothing what you would expect to see in Florida. I mean, it looks like you're either in St. Andrews or on the moon or something. It's not your typical Florida terrain, and very challenging. Played with caddies, which is always fun, and a beautiful hotel, although, again, really out of place. It looked like something you might see alongside the Autobahn or something, but a great place. And for those who want to do more than just play golf, they had, fly fishing and shooting. And, again, you would just never expect that in the middle of Nowheresville, Florida, but a great place to spend several days and really play some incredible golf.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Streamsong is really coming on strong. They do a great job. The